Hi, my name's Izzy and I'm a member of the Verbum Dei missionary community based in Southampton, and it's a great gift for me to be able to share this Lenten reflection with you all. Time flies, so the saying goes, and it's amazing to think that we're already in the third week of Lent. We can see from outside that everything is changing, spring is really coming, and maybe it feels like Easter is nearly here, especially when we're getting very busy with our preparations for Easter celebrations. But I think there's a real invitation from God to not lose sight of what He wants to do with us in this time of Lent, of what He wants to work in us and in our communities in this time of preparation for Easter. I wanted to share with you in this reflection something that has given me a lot of life in my prayer in this time, and that is my personal reflection on the message of Pope Francis for Lent. Pope Francis entitles his letter, "Let us not tire to do good," which comes from Galatians 6:9. Let us not tire to do good, for in due time we will see a harvest. Personally, I think that religious life has a great capacity and potential to do good. And I imagine that we all feel this way, or we would not have given our lives to Jesus in this very special way of following Him. So, our lives have this great potential for good, but at the same time, we can become very tired existentially. Sometimes when we look at the world, the suffering that is still so obvious in places like Ukraine, in our own country where there's a cost of living crisis, in people who come to us to share with us daily their worries and concerns, we can really feel that the fruit is very little, or that we are very little, that we are very poor spiritually and materially to be able to accompany people, to be able to help them. Let us not tire to do good, for in due time we will see a harvest. How can I combat this tiredness inside of me? One thing that I really understood from God is that in this time of Lent, it's about coming back to Him and coming back to the heart of consecrated life. Actually, my call to give myself to Him is already bearing fruit in my desire to do good. That is already something that is changing and helping the world so much. There is a very beautiful part in Evangelii Gaudium that talks about a vital force encircling the world. The Pope says, no small act of love will be wasted. No generous effort will be lost. All of these things encircle our world as a vital force. My religious, consecrated life, united to Jesus on the cross, can give fruit. It is part of this encircling vital force that sustains the world. Maybe sometimes it's hard for us to see the fruit, but the Pope says in Evangelii Gaudium, we need to have an inner certainty that the fruit is there, even though sometimes it is very hard to see, even though sometimes it's actually easier to see the badness, the difficulties, the suffering in the world. Our lives are still giving this fruit. Our generous and noble acts, even if they seem very small, even if it's just listening to one person for an hour, sharing their problems, that is giving a fruit in me, in the person, and in the world. It is encircling the world in a vital force. Another thing that's giving me so much life in this time is a saying of Mother Teresa. She said that we may be, or we may feel like one drop in the ocean, but the ocean would be less without our one drop. Actually, I think that if we change our vision, if we try to enter into the vision of God over our lives, we can see that these drops can really come together to form an ocean of love, an ocean of self-giving. I was really touched when I was reading in the news that individual people have signed up to host Ukrainian families, Ukrainian refugees. Maybe each one of them didn't feel like so much, but united they are more than 100,000 people. How many Ukrainians will be able to come and find a home after this terrible time of suffering because of the generosity of these individual people who really believe that their drop can make a difference? I feel like this is the invitation that I am having in this time of prayer, this time of reflection on let us not tire to do good, for in due time we will receive a harvest. Maybe I feel like a drop, but I am a drop in an ocean united with many other religious who are giving their lives daily, who are not maybe seeing fruit, but who are continuing to form this ocean of love, to form this encircling vital force that is giving fruit in our world. Maybe this time of Lent is an invitation for us to change our vision, to ask Jesus to help us to see the fruit of one life given in love, one life that sustains the world. May he help us to really feel a part of this ocean of love, to really feel a part of this vital force, and really believe that in due time, at Easter, we will see such a beautiful harvest.